Today, we're chatting all things chiropractic care because, yes, there is prenatal, postpartum, and even child chiropractic care. We'll discuss the myths, fears, and of course, the benefits of this type of care to make us stronger and healthier mamas. We read the books, we bought the things. We thought we were ready. And then life took our plans and changed them. I'm Karen, I'm Victoria's mommy, and I work in tech.
And I'm Pamela. I have a baby boy named Ford, and I'm a journalist. And although we're both first-time working moms, we're actually pretty different.
And that's totally okay. Because we both agree that our most important work is raising our kids. We really need each other and can only get through this together. Welcome to Motherish Moments. Good morning, Pamela.
Good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're listening to us. Thank you for listening. Today we have
I'm so excited because this is actually my chiropractor, and I can't even believe I'm saying it. I mean, he doesn't belong to me, but he's the doctor that I go to. And I can't believe I'm saying this because I've never in my 39 years of life, I've never done this, and I've always had like a lot of like preconceptions, they say, like about it, and then like I went, and then I was like, oh my god, it's so amazing, and now I go like 3 times a week, and it's so great. So I'm super excited. Plus, he's super nice, and he actually reminds me a lot of my brother, which is part of why I also like him so much. But what's it called? I'm super excited to have him on the podcast and to share a lot of the things that he's already taught me about how, you know, chiropractic care could be good even for children, like even Victoria went. So it was really, really cool. But before we get into that, do you want to do your motherish moment?
Yeah, I'll do mine this morning because so there's, I started carpooling, not started, but because based on need, I had asked one of my mom friends from school twice already. One time was to please drop him off. I dropped him out of his house, and then she did me the favor of going to school and dropping him off with her daughter. And then one time, she picked them up from school. So, you know, it was my turn. She had an 8 a.m. board meeting she couldn't be late to, and it was near my house. So she dropped off her daughter at my house. I was like, perfect. You know, and they're really, really close, and Ford really loves her daughter, which is one of his classmates at school. And everything was perfect. I'm like, okay, you know, but of course, like, once it just reminds you, every time you plan something and you envision it to be a certain way, it turns out to be completely different.
I know.
So of course, Ford had woken up like in the middle of the night, went to my room. So that had already like interrupted his sleep. He wouldn't wake up in the morning. Finally, when he woke up like in a very, very, very bad mood. So I was like, oh, you know, your friend's coming over and we're going to go to school together. I don't want my friend to come. I'm like, okay. You know, so then the friend gets there a little bit early. I'm like, okay, let's put her to watch the little TV while I put on your uniform. I don't want her to. So he gets the remote control and hides the remote control.
Oh, God.
He's like, I don't want her to watch TV while I'm getting dressed. Anyhow, it was a little challenging because, again, you don't know. They're little people with little, you know, personalities, and they're wake up in a bad mood, big feelings. Obviously he's not a morning person like I am. I'm a morning person. I love waking up. I'm always in a good mood in the morning, and he's just not, you know? Yeah, so that was my morning. But, you know,
you're like, I'm okay, I survived.
I'm okay, yeah. Put him in the car. They went to school. Perfect. Everything was great.
Man.
But it was challenging. But anyways, but it also opens up this whole new chapter of carpooling, which is great. You know, like being able to trust someone else with your kid is like a game changer.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to, especially like we're both working moms. Mm-hmm. So like in the afternoon, sometimes like something comes up, or like if I have to travel. So it just it gives you a nice sense of peace of mind to know that you could count on someone and that they could deliver your child in a safe way.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so my motherish moment is silly. So I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I cut off goldfish from our house. Not like actual fish, the snacks, you know, the goldfish snacks. I cut it off from our house.
By the way, I just had posts that it was like horrible. Not that it was like the worst snack ever. Yeah.
Correct. Which is why I cut them off like probably like 10 months ago. And then Victoria and I did this like video on my Instagram trying all the different alternatives of like cheesy crackers to try to figure out which one is like a better option. And, you know, you find like there's a few, like there's really good brands, like Made Good has some really yummy ones. Simple Mills has a really good one too. And they have like
healthier options.
Right. Because they have like a minimal list of ingredients and they're mostly like all things that you can understand. You read the list of ingredients and you're like, I know what that is. But like Goldfish, it like gets kind of crazy, you know? So it's been 10 months. Oh, and the only reason I did this, by the way, just for context here, I'm not like, you know, super granola.
Like a very popular little bag snack.
No, everybody knows what Goldfish are. How does everybody know?
I'm just saying.
Okay, good for you. Good for you. Well, Victoria was eating Goldfish every single day. Like it was her it was bad. So that's why I was like, we got to cut this off. I'm not like super granola in the sense that like every now and then you can have something. I don't care if you're out and you want something with cotton candy, like with coloring, like
extreme.
No, but because it was a daily thing, I'm like, okay, this is where I draw the line. But this week I decided to do an experiment of a recipe I found of making my own goldfish. Like, you know, it's one of those things that you're like, why am I doing this? In the middle of me doing it and with a freaking cookie cracker cutter of goldfish poking out every individual cut little fish of cheese dough, I was like, why am I doing this? But all that to say that the 4 ingredient goldfish that I made were a huge hit and Victoria loved them and they have carrots in them. Like it's a very highly successful recipe and like I tried it out with a few of her friends that were at my house. And like,
I feel like is this like an idea that's being born right now? Like, should you package this and like?
Well, the thing is that because it's only 4 ingredients and it's all like normal things. Like it's literally cheddar cheese, baby carrots, a little bit of butter, and I used gluten-free flour. Because it's just those 4 ingredients, like you have to eat them within a certain number of days. Like it's not,
there's no preservatives.
There's no preservatives there. But like they were devouring them. And then like my mom came over and my brother and his fiance came over and everybody was like, what is this? It's like crack. And I was like, but also it takes so much work to make like 10 of them. So I don't know. I'm in a predicament here because I found this amazing solution to something that like was really frustrating for me. But then I will lose my sanity poking out every little tiny goldfish cracker. I'll be like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But anyway, I'm going to post this recipe on my Instagram this week. And if you want to go crazy and down the rabbit hole with me, join me. I'll send you the link to the goldfish cookie cutter, which cost me like $2 on Amazon. Yeah. Okay.
That's cute. So why don't we ask our guest today, Dr. Mayer, to share his, I know you have a 2-year-old, right?
Almost, I think.
He's 19 months.
Aw. Do you want to share your father-ish moment with us?
Yeah, I'd love to. So since we've opened up this office about 2 months ago, we've been adapting our morning routine. So the way it goes is I'll be at the gym 6 to 7. I'll come home at 7. I'll start warming up breakfast for him, or maybe start making breakfast for him. And he wakes up around 7:15, 7:30, and he's started to wake up really thirsty. So the first thing I'll hear is it's dead silence at about 7:15 in the morning, and I just hear from his room, agua, like he's dying for thirst. I remember when I was growing up, my mom used to always leave like a giant bottle of water on my desk. I would wake up and it'd be empty every night. And, I guess the kid takes after me. But it's so funny. Every morning I'm waiting for the first thing they hear is just him like parched, screaming for water. So that I've been enjoying for the last week until he started doing that.
Enjoy this season before they, instead of saying agua, they'll be like, where's my water? And you're like, oh my God, what did I do?
Well, I feel like that's kind of what he's getting at. But he's just starting to say like 2 to 3 words at a time.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's all he can say right now. He's just like, get me some water.
I know, they do like the survival words first.
Yeah.
So why don't we welcome our guest today, Doc? Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got into this, practicing chiropractic care? And I know you were a former athlete before.
Yeah, so thanks so much for having me. First off, when I was in high school, I was wrestling, and in one match, I actually had my shoulder dislocate. It was my right, and I remember going through all the rehab, all the strengthening with the athletic trainers and the therapists there, and a couple of weeks later, I'd get back on the mat for another match, and my shoulder popped out again, and then it only happened easier and easier. And pretty much got to the point where nightly I was falling asleep, and I used to sleep like this on my stomach with my shoulder up, and my shoulder would dislocate in my sleep. So it happened almost nightly. At the time, my mom was seeing a chiropractor, and she came home one day and she said, "My chiropractor said they can help you with your shoulder." I'm like, "Mom, I've been to like everybody. No one can help me. I need surgery." And, you know, my mom was pretty tough. So he found a problem in my neck. He didn't even look at my shoulder. And he sat me down and he explained to me, "Hey, you have a problem in your neck. And that's one of the nerves that powers the shoulder." And I was like, "Okay, whatever, sure." And I remember he adjusted me. I left home and I didn't think much of it. And then I woke up the next day and my neck actually hurt a little bit. And I remembered him saying, "You might be sore after your first adjustment because you're moving things for the first time that haven't moved in a long time." And, you know, the first thing I thought was like, wow, that guy didn't know what he was doing. And then I thought about it for a second. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't wake up to my shoulder popping. And then the next night, and the next night, and the next night. And, you know, knock on wood, I've been able to, and it's kept my shoulder healthy, it's kept my body healthy through all of that.
Your practice is called Well Adjusted, and I know you guys mentioned the adjustment and being adjusted. What is exactly getting adjusted?
Great question. So the spine is made up of 24 movable bones in between the skull and your hips. Those bones move, shift, bend, and twist. And what can happen is that through normal stressors throughout life, when we sleep, postural habits, those bones can shift out of alignment slightly. When that happens, that will irritate or put pressure on a nerve. And what I do as a chiropractor is we analyze the spine and look for the exact area where that bone is out of place. And we help align it back into place, essentially. So the ultimate goal is to help that brain-body connection.
How did you end up going? So what were you feeling?
So I went because I have plantar fasciitis, which is like a pain on my foot, on the heel of my foot. And so one day we're at the gym and I was like, "Hey man, can you fix this?" Literally like that. And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I went. I'm gonna give them my full experience with you. Here's my like in real life review. So I went, and in the first appointment, he did X-rays. The second appointment, we reviewed those X-rays, and in those X-rays, you know, we really focused on the spine area. But so he showed me, you know, I have a little bit of like, what did you call it, doctor? Like tech neck? Yeah, tech neck, which is like super predictable and sounds very self-explanatory. But basically, like if you're looking at your phone or you always have your computer, you have a little bit of that, like your spine, the bones in a specific area are just like kind of losing the space between them, right? Did I get it right? Damn, I'm a good student. So
were you hesitant at first? I feel like there's a lot
horrified.
Of myths and,
I was so scared.
There's a lot of fears. Like, why are people so hesitant about going to the chiropractor?
And I think that also ties into the type of chiropractic care that you do. So maybe you want to share that.
Absolutely, yeah. So to answer your first question, I found a lot of people are hesitant, and I don't know if it's from Hollywood and they watch so many people, you know, just get their neck twisted and drop down like flies. Or just public perception of what they see on YouTube and TikTok of what a lot of chiropractors are doing. But I do get that quite a bit, actually. And the biggest thing is education. You have to educate people as to what you do. So at Well Adjusted, we do a specific technique called Gonstead. And the Gonstead approach, the ultimate thing is precision. We want to be as precise as possible with the spine. That's why we take x-rays on the first visit. If we're taking x-rays, we don't adjust on the first visit so that I have the time to sit down and study the x-rays, really see what we're working with, and see ultimately the health of the spine. And I'm a huge proponent of educating my patients, them to understand why they're coming here, not just to tell them, "Hey, come here and you're going to get better." I think I'm a big proponent when they understand what is going on in their bodies, and they themselves are empowered to help, to take care of it and to follow through and stick with the plan. So it's much more helpful, and you get greater adherence and greater results.
I was definitely scared for my first adjustment because the first adjustment that we did, you know, he starts with like the neck, and okay, I'm gonna like look.
And you're like full body laying down.
No. So in this first one, you're sitting down and you're sitting upright with like a cushion, like right, that has you like on your back, like straight up. And he has this like little tool where he checks like I guess it's the nerves, right? from your neck all the way down to see where you're having like any sort of like pain or irritation. And that first time I was having some like pain on my neck to the left, and he's like, you have like pain. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, how are you surviving? And I'm like, I don't know. I just feel like that's what us moms do. Like, you have pain, but you just like get up and keep going. But I was like really nervous about the neck adjustment because I was like, what if I die? And he's like, it's actually really hard to like kill someone like just through their neck. Like, and you know, I think, yes, like the sound of it at first, you're just like, whoa, that's overwhelming. But the immediate like feeling afterwards, it's kind of like I would describe it as you almost feel like, and I don't know if this is what's actually happening, doctor, you can correct me, but like I genuinely feel like there's better blood flow and like, I don't know, like clarity, oxygen. It's almost like you cleared up like an obstruction or whatever.
What is really happening, doctor?
A lot of things at once. Number one, partly prayer. So that instrument that I use is called a nervoscope. It's just 2 probes that run down the spine, and what it's measuring is heat side to side. So the nerves control the sweat glands, and they also control the blood flow. So when you have pressure on one specific nerve and the rest of them are all functioning normal, what you'll get is a sharp reading to one direction or the other. That's basically telling me, hey, the blood vessels are tightened or dilated in this area. So you'll get that sharp reading. Now, when you adjust, you are going to get more blood flow as a result because you are removing that pressure on the nerve system so that you can bring back normalcy to the body. So that brain and wherever that nerve goes, whether that nerve goes to your stomach or down your leg or into your arm, it's going to have better communication back and forth, because that's what needs to happen all day is your brain is communicating with your entire body nonstop. So we want to make sure that the vessel, which is the spine, where that communication goes through, is free of any pressure so that you have the best chance to be the best version of you.
Who is the perfect patient to see a chiropractor? Is it when you have pain? Is it when you don't want to have surgery? Like, when is it the right moment that you should make that decision? Be like, you know what? Let me go check this out.
When was the best time to plant a tree?
Damn.
I also saw there was prenatal care, which I was very surprised to see.
Yeah, let's go into the category, into the topic of like mothers and chiropractic care.
Absolutely. I've been blessed to have many great mentors, and my final semester at school, I was able to intern with a chiropractor who'd been 44 years in family practice. And he's like an absolute legend in the chiropractic. And one thing that I heard him tell a patient that really stuck with me was, you know, he used to ask his students a test question of when is the best time to adjust the baby? And the answer was 9 months before it's born. Right? So making sure that mom has that best brain body connection so that the baby can grow in the optimal environment, and throughout pregnancy, making sure that she's free of nerve interference is great for baby, right? So yeah, prenatal care, making sure as mom goes through all these changes that are happening to her body, both her hormonally, center of mass changing, weight increase. This is all happening in the course of 9 months. That's a really short amount of time for your body to adapt to all these things. So making sure that the spine and the pelvis and the nerve system are healthy and functioning well is just going to help provide the optimal experience for mom and the environment for the baby.
It's crazy. When I'm stressed, even when I'm thinking that I'm not, I feel like how it manifests in my body, like all the tension and anything I do, like if I'm stressed and then I have tension and then I go work out and then I'm in pain. And then it's like a domino effect. It's like your mental state affects your physical state. And then if you're not in a good space, then you get injured. And then it's like, oh my God, when do I get out of this?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, you guys are talking and I feel like everything just like...
No, you need to go...
I need one right now.
You need to go. Actually, there's going to be a special discount code for Motherish for anyone who wants to go, anyone in Miami who wants to go visit Dr. Mayer. I have one more thing I want to bring up right now. Please share with us the first time that you adjusted your son.
I would love to. My son received his first adjustment at 1 hour old. When they are that old, the adjustment is, if you were to close your eye and put your finger on your eyeball, the pressure you could tolerate is about the pressure that you use on an infant. So it's like what you check the ripeness of a tomato wrapper, not the cup. It's very gentle, and it's just a sustained pressure. There's no like pushing or thrusting. It's almost like you're just pushing on a stick of butter and waiting for it to melt. So And to give you a little bit of backstory, my wife, she was very, when I met her, she was very into wellness and juices and acupuncture and all these proactive health things. But she was a little hesitant to chiropractors because she had poor experiences in the past. And I can go into the details, but she'd been like burned by electrodes or something when a chiropractor left them on too long or something, So once I showed her what I do with the Gonstead technique, she became like the biggest advocate. So she was, every other week I would get an email, can you find me a Gonstead chiropractor in Minnesota? But even she, when he was first born, she's like, does he really need to get adjusted? And so I totally understand where the fear comes from and where the uncertainty comes from. It's like, this is your baby, you just have this baby and you do anything in the world to protect it. So I always think it's like the greatest form of trust when a mom hands you her baby and says, will you check it for me? Will you check his spine? It's like, that is a bond of trust that is greater than anything that I know between being a patient. So it's always, I'm always really grateful to check babies, and it's a lot of fun. They don't tell you what's going on. You just get to check their spine, help them function a little bit better and give them back to the parents.
I saw the Victoria one too. Was she complaining about anything or?
No. So the other thing that I learned in my conversations every time I go adjusted, I'm like, what about this and what about that? Was that chiropractic care in children can also help with sleep and behavioral things. Can you explain some of that before I go into Victoria's experience?
Absolutely. The common trend that you're going to see is that we're helping the brain and body be better connected. So when that happens to the kids get wound up, whether it's a lot of sugar, whether it's poor sleep, and their bodies get overactive and they get really wound up. And different children will manifest that differently. Sometimes that's lashing out. Sometimes it's just, the raging bull running up and down and can't relax. Our nerve systems have two main modes. They're sympathetic and parasympathetic, or you might have heard of the fight or flight system. That's our body's survival mechanism. So our bodies will, when we have spinal stress, they get stuck in that fight or flight. So in kids, that just looks like them running 1,000 miles an hour. They don't sleep properly. They might not be digesting food. In babies, maybe they're spitting up frequently. When you adjust them and you allow their nerve system to calm down, it's almost like you remove that static and they get to calm down. So we've seen actually even kids with autism, their symptoms become a little bit more mild because of that, being able to shift out of that when needed. And it's important to know, it's not that chiropractic is curing anything, it's that this is what their bodies go through when their brains are properly functioning and their nerve systems are properly. It's their body, it's your body that does the healing. It's not me as the chiropractor, it's the wisdom that's in your body that's designed to self-heal, that keeps your body pumping, keeps your heart pumping at the rate that it needs to, that tells you when to breathe and when to breathe deep to get that oxygen you need. That wisdom is controlled by your brain and nerve system. So making sure that the spine is functioning properly is just going to help accentuate that.
In Victoria's appointment, we didn't do x-rays on her because the doctor didn't feel like it was necessary at the moment. But so he checked her spine for scoliosis to see. And so we did find that there was a bottom part of her spine that was slightly curving to the left. But it was nothing, he was like, we just keep an eye on this and that's all. And then he had a whole conversation with Victoria explaining the bones, and he has these really cool big pictures on the wall, and she was like, this is a heart and this is this and that, whatever. She was a little bit, it kind of referred to this as when she is in her show off mode. She was very much in her show off mode with the doctor. She was like, yeah, I know how to do this and whatever. So he did the first adjustment on her neck, and he had a really cute way of doing it, which was he was telling her you have to catch the popcorn, which is the sound that your bones make when he does the adjustment. And so for the neck one, for example, he had her sitting down and he put her hands open on her lap so that she could catch the popcorn. But in reality, that pushes you to relax for a moment. Told her, take a deep breath. And then he adjusted her neck, and then she heard the sound and she was like, whoa. But then she goes, but I didn't catch the popcorn. Where's the popcorn? Whatever. It was cute the way he modified the practice for for a child. And so then he adjusted her back, and then I don't know what the one is that you're laying down. What is that? That's also...
It's called side posture. It's the adjustment for her hips and low back. So I told her, like, we're going to twist you into a pretzel. And you kind of like, you kind of put one leg up, and on your side.
When we left the appointment, she was still like in her like kind of like riled up, like show-offy mode. And, my mom was with me, so she can attest to this. But like we started driving to my mom's house, which is like literally 6 minutes away from there. And then I look back and she was just chilling. Like she was in her car seat, looking out the window. Like it was like a weird, she's not normally ever in a relaxed mode unless she's like watching TV, like it's only, but on her own by herself, like she was just like, and I go, Mama, are you good? And she's like, yeah, Mama, I feel good. And I was like, this is so weird. It was really like,
so but it's like an immediate reaction to,
yes, it was like, I mean, within 20 minutes, she was it was almost like like brought her down a few decibels of like, because she was also coming out of school, so she was extra, like overstimulated and hyped from school or whatever. So super interesting. My brother's fiance, Leslie, she is a nurse who works overnights. And so when you do these overnight shifts, then you have to like force your body to like sleep during the day. And it's hard if your clock is not used to that the whole week and stuff. So she goes to see him on the days like right after her shift in the morning. She goes to him and she says like those are the days that she can actually sleep,
deep sleep during the
day, because if not, your brain is like, but I'm not used to sleeping at this time, and it's kind of a mess. So it's been really interesting to kind of explore all of this.
You made a great point, which I had never really thought about it from this perspective, the fact that it's more brain related and than muscular and joints, right? I always had this myth of like, okay, my joints or my bones, I don't know. And really, when you put it that way, it makes sense. It's like kind of keeping the headquarter, of like this machine that's your body kind of like in a good state and kind of flowing and running. What are people the most hesitant about when they go see you? Because we talked a lot about that. Like, what are their initial fears?
99.99% of the time, it's about getting their neck adjusted. It's very, very reasonable because the Gonstead technique it's pretty well, it's somewhat well known. I've had a few patients who are like, I've looked this up, I've seen this on YouTube, or I've seen this here or there. Or maybe they've seen a Gonstead chiropractor and they moved to Miami and then they'll find me because of the Gonstead work. But it's not what you're going to see get 1 million views on YouTube or TikTok, because you're not cracking everything in the body, right? The goal is to just move the one bone in that area that needs to be moved. So instead of getting this ginormous cracking noise, we just get one click. And, that's not as satisfying, admittedly, for, YouTube as hearing everything. I used to think that as a patient, too, that, like, if I didn't get, like, cracked 3 times in my neck or in my mid-back, then I got cheated. And then I learned, like, well, no, this is we're actually trying to kind of the nervous system. Oh, okay, then that makes sense. That's why you would want to overwhelm that and, be more precise, be as precise as possible. When you're dealing actually with the brain and nervous system, you're not just cracking bones like you would crack your knuckles.
Can you also give us some examples, doctor, of the type of patients that go see you? Like, is it someone that has a pain? Is someone that maybe is about to give birth? Is it someone like, what does your patient look like,
Great question. Right now, we have a good mix. We're seeing more and more pregnant patients, which is awesome. We're taking care of pregnant women because it's kind of a 2-for-1. You're making an impact for mom, and you're also making an impact for the baby, making sure that they have as seamless of a birth as possible, because it does take a village. We have some postpartum. We have a few babies and children, but by and large, a lot of the people who seek us out, probably who are looking for a chiropractor online, are those people with back and neck pain. And those are the people who you have to kind of take a step back and say, I understand you're here for pain. I'm not a pain doctor, though. This is what I do. And as we're looking to make your spine healthier, and as we get your spine healthier, does it make sense that your pain will likely get better? It's pain relief. That's something that no one can promise that, but you're a lot more likely to have quicker and faster results for medication. But that's something that my patients try to avoid, right? So we want to do it as naturally as possible by uplifting the health to proactively take care of the body and the spine and help the mechanics and help the nervous system function optimal. So we do get a little bit of everything. We get a lot of wellness-minded individuals. But by and large, most people's first contact with a chiropractor is pain, something pain related. And then I'm a huge proponent of education, so we educate them and talk about the benefits for their children, talk about the benefits for the entire family. And that's when they usually will, okay, I get this, I understand this makes sense, I'm on board.
I feel when people start working out, they're like, okay, we're working now, we're getting back in the routine. And then when all that pain and they're sore and like, it starts like you open like a Pandora box of all the issues that your body may have because you're really pushing it to a new limit, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's when people start noticing, okay, something's off here. I need to fix something before I continue with this routine.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as you get more and more active, it's you're likely to expose those weak points that you might have in your body. For me, it was my shoulder. That problem in my neck. For some people, I always liken it to if you're driving a car with one tire that's bent in, you're not going to be able to drive 100 miles a day without that tire wearing out faster. So once you start to really put the stress on that car, that tire might pop, or you might notice when you get it checked, the mechanic says, hey, your tire's bald on this right side, but the rest of them are fine. So our bodies are no different. So the joints and those areas that are stressed are going to wear out faster than the rest of them. So it's great to come in when you're in pain to obviously help the pain, but it's even better to come in when you're feeling good and stay good. So our tagline is get well, stay well. And that's really our goal for our patients. We want to help them get well and then stay well adjusted. And that's ultimately how the name came about. Not long from then is that they stay healthy and their spines are functioning better and they notice all these things in their life are improving. They're sleeping better. They start eating healthier. It really is a all-encompassing approach in that it's not only chiropractic that is important for health.
Another point that I wanted to bring up, you touched on it lightly, is with postpartum women, because I feel like this is an overarching theme in everything. Pregnant women get a lot of care, a lot of attention across the board. You see your gynecologist every week. You have a doula. You have
everyone's,
this.
Are you okay?
Everyone's taking care of you. The baby comes out and they're like, okay, see you in 6 weeks, and you're like, oh, okay, and then. Yeah, and it feels like your body just got run over by a train, and
right? No one really.
And
how you're doing.
What I read, so when I was postpartum, I ended up developing mother's thumb, which is called de Quervain's, which is similar to carpal tunnel but different because the pain goes all the way up your arm, and I had it on both of my hands. And in the research of all of that, I was reading that because of the major hormonal shift postpartum, your body and your ligaments specifically are more prone to injury. So I think, the fact that pregnant women are going to a chiropractor is great, but I feel like postpartum is probably a lot more, I don't know if it's a lot more important, but like equally important, I would say.
Yeah, it's very important. It is unfortunate that as soon as the baby's born, mom is kind of kicked to the curb and you're expected to be back to normal within a week as if nothing ever happened to your body. And, throughout pregnancy, women go through probably the most challenging thing that their bodies have ever had to endure. Your pelvis, which normally just rocks back and forth just a couple of degrees each way when you walk and when you run, has to open in such a way to allow the baby to go through the pelvic canal. Making sure, until that point that the pelvis is moving properly so that the baby can find the easiest passageway and move through unobstructed. But after that stretching that happens, you got to make sure that things come back together properly and are working properly the way that they're supposed to.
Yesterday, I got a lymphatic massage on my stomach, my belly, like I was training, right? My belly. Getting ready for the summer, No. But it's funny because I still feel like, when I got up, the lady was asking me, and I always kind of, not that I blame pregnancy, but dude, your body goes through like a lot of changes. Like I had a huge belly and now, it's amazing what the body's capable of doing. But I also feel like women should give themselves so much grace because it takes time. Like my son's 4. And obviously, like, it's not an excuse anymore. Like, I don't think it's pregnant related, but I still think my body's different, and it does take time and it takes work and it takes like working out and treatments. I'm saying like even with any type of care, it's consistency, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, doctor, but it's also patience. Like be patient with yourself, with your body. Like be graceful. It's gonna take time to get to it's never going to be the same, but I'm saying maybe to get to a point where you feel, not in pain, comfortable, and happy with.
It's true, yes. Sometimes those changes that happen throughout pregnancy and from the birth itself can be somewhat permanent, right? So those changes sometimes your hips may never be the same. I've heard from so many women that for years after birth that, they've had some severe hip pain or these movements have been limited. It really does take a village to raise a baby and to take care of mom. And just having a chiropractor in your corner as part of that team of people is I believe it's crucial. I don't think anyone, any baby, any mom should go unchecked. It doesn't mean that everyone needs work. You should at least get a checkup. Make sure the hips, the pelvis, the spine is functioning properly, everything. That way everything has the best chance of healing to the best capacity because, right after birth, your body's in a vulnerable place. So many changes just happen, and it's trying to change back to what it was before pregnancy, even in less, in 1 to 2 to 3 months. So we want to make sure that we just help the body through.
I'm thinking of all the things that are hurting because now I'm carrying because my son's 47 pounds almost. Yes. He's a heavy boy, and he still wants me to carry him, and I'm going to carry him as long as I can carry him. But I do you tend to do things in a consistency, like in a consistent way where there's a pattern to your body, right? So I tend to always carry my son on my left side. Like I try to alternate, but I always forget. So I'm always like, those things like make a difference. I always lay on his bed on my left side, on his shoulder in his twin bed. So I feel like your body develops all this from your routine with your children.
You gotta go get well adjusted.
Your daily habits really influence the health of your spine and what you do. Like I said, if Karen mentioned earlier, like sitting at a desk, looking down at your phone for hours on end, you're going to get that tech neck, which is that rounding of the upper back, and that extension of the upper neck, with the shoulders rounded forward. If you do that day in and day out, I could be the best chiropractor in the world, but if you leave my office for the next 48 hours, you're with a hunchback looking at your phone. There's not much I can do.
But then we went to a wedding doctor, and she was breaking it down like. Who? You were. Like, it's funny how like your body just like forgets about everything.
No. The way that I was thinking about my chiropractic appointment on Saturday night, I went to a party and I got to the party. I was wearing my Apple Watch. I got to the party and I had 10,500 steps or something like that. By the time the party ended and I got home, by the time it was midnight, by the time it hit midnight, because midnight it goes back to 0. By the time it was midnight, my watch had 20,000 steps. And I was like, oh my God, everything hurts. Like literally I had pain in places that I was like, I've never experienced this. And then it dawned on me. I'm like, okay, because this is the year that you turned 40. And this is why the pain is starting, but I've never had pain.
How conscious should we be, doctor, just to like close it off, of age, right? Like there is an age factor here. Let's be right. Like we're all about like 40s and new 20s, but then we're
not really.
What should we be conscious of? Like once we start, turning a certain age.
Yeah, I always think of it from this perspective: is that if you don't use it, you lose it, right? So keeping our bodies as young as possible is going to come from exercising. It's going to come from doing the right thing in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, so that you can live your 50s, 60s, 70s. Hopefully even 80s, 90s in good health. So the habits we do today shape what we do tomorrow. I am what I envision for all my patients is them being under care, their kids being under care, their kids growing up under chiropractic care. Because it's a lot easier to raise healthy children than to fix broken adults. So that's
let's say that again very slowly, please, so we could close it off with that. Say it again, doctor.
It is easier to raise healthy children than to fix broken adults. And that is ultimately, when we look at age, the things you do throughout your adolescence, throughout your teenage years, the 20s and 30s, are what shape your years to come. So I believe growing up under chiropractic care, I've been adjusted since I was in high school, and it's really changed my life. I wish I was adjusted from birth, but I know with my son, he's never going to go without. He's always going to have that in his corner. It doesn't mean he's like a superhero baby. It just means that he's a normal, healthy baby with a proper functioning spine. He's going to have the best shot at doing what he wants and participating in the sports that he wants and having the right nervous system tone and hitting developmental milestones and things like that. It's just giving them the best chance.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Doctor. If you want to share where people can follow you on Instagram, please, and I'll also let them know, or you can let them know about the Motherish Code.
Yeah. So our Instagram is at WellAdjustedMiami. We love posting educational, like a lot of the questions you guys asked, we've made like some informational slides that you can check out. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And what we are going to do for the Motherish listeners is when you call or schedule and mention Motherish, you'll be getting an awesome discount on your day one. Normally that's in the ballpark of like $175 to $275. For all the Motherish listeners who come out to us and mention Motherish, it's only going to be $100 for you guys. So definitely take advantage of that. We'd love to help out families and moms and babies. That's our passion. That's who we do our best to work with.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Doctor. This was so great.
Thank you, Doctor.